welcome to this week's video. What we're going to cover today is looking at the topic of alcohol and if we can still improve our health. So can we get stronger, fitter, healthier, lose weight, gain weight, whatever health goals we have, can we still achieve them while still consuming alcohol? That's what we're going to cover today. So the three topics we're going to look at today are: does alcohol impair our short and long-term recovery? So what that means is when we're coming to the gym and we're trying to get stronger, fitter, healthier, when we're recovering from these sessions, does alcohol interfere with that? And can it sort of undo our hard work in the gym? Second thing we're going to look at is can you still lose fat whilst drinking alcohol? So a common goal at ELEV8 and the people I coach is wanting to lose weight, wanting to lose fat, wanting to build muscle. And we're going to look at, can you still achieve that whilst consuming alcohol? And then thirdly, we hear the words moderation and excess used a lot, don't we, when we're looking at nutrition or diet or alcohol or smoking or whatever it is. And we just want to try and differentiate between moderation and excess. Straight into it then. So does drinking alcohol affect your recovery? And when we say recovery, we mean recovery from training, whether it be going for a run, going to the gym, this type of training. All right, so all the research and the papers, when we look at what they're saying, most of them have the same result, and that result is lower doses of alcohol don't massively impair your short-term recovery. So what that means is if you went to the gym Friday, tonight for example, and had a few drinks Saturday, would your body still recover from the training on the Friday, ready to go by the Monday? And a lot of the studies show if it's a lower dose of alcohol than you would. And we're going to determine what lower and high volumes of alcohol are in a later slide. But the takeaway point there is a lower dose of alcohol won't dramatically impair your recovery, okay? But it also suggests that larger doses may. So to be honest, that shouldn't be anything groundbreaking. It should be quite reassuring that if you are someone who likes a glass of wine, for example, that you can still do this and it won't massively affect your recovery. So moving down then, so the likelihood of impaired recovery seems to be increased if you are male. So this is something the studies have found. If you are a male, it can impair your recovery a lot more. So say you were having a little bit higher dose of alcohol, it would affect males more than females. So it's something to be conscious of if you are a male. It does effectively impact your training slightly if you are going on heavier nights out and drinking excessive amounts of alcohol. And then finally, regular indigestion of high alcohol doses is a bad idea for recovery. So as it says on the screen there, alcohol does affect muscle protein synthesis, which means when you're trying to grow your muscles and recover them, alcohol will impair that if you have high doses and it's continuously going in. So let's just say hypothetically, every Friday and Saturday you are going out on actual big nights out, that will have an effect. A lot of the studies where they say it won't have an effect are lower doses. So a night out is definitely a higher dose. Obviously, if you're going on a full night out drinking till all hours, it will affect your muscle growth and your muscle repair. It will affect your sleep quality, which, as you've all learned through your 6 weeks at ELEV8 now, that the sleep is massive. It's really important to your health and fitness. So drinking excessive and higher alcohol doses will affect your sleep. And it also affects a number of important hormones, which I'm not going to pretend I know what particular ones, but it does mess with your hormones and it can affect your day-to-day mood. It can affect your personal life, obviously in terms of male with testosterone and stuff like that. It can affect that. So high doses of alcohol do affect important hormones in the body. All right, so the takeaway point so far is enjoy alcohol, but in moderation. And we're going to look at what moderation looks like in a second. Next topic we're going to touch on is, does alcohol affect your fitness and losing fat? So we've touched on whether it's going to affect our recovery of the training. Now we're going to look at, can you actually still get fitter and stronger whilst having small amounts of alcohol? And the answer is yes. So again, another study, we're looking at beer or vodka. Does it affect improvements in cardiovascular capacity, which means VO2? So at the end of ELEV8, when you're jumping on the rower, the ski erg, the bike, and you have the ability to perform 2, 3, 4 minutes high intensity and then recover and all that type of stuff, that's your cardio effectively. And studies have shown having low doses of alcohol will not affect that. So that's a positive if you are someone who likes a glass of wine, a beer, this type of stuff, all right? And the same results were found with strength tests. So when you're lifting your bench press, If you are having a couple of beers every other night or something like that, it's not going to massively impact your strength gains, which is, again, a positive if you're someone who does like a small beer throughout the week. So looking at losing fat then, so the determining factor to losing fat and gaining muscle remains the calorie consumption, okay? So as I've said in ELEV8, if I have set you 2,500 calories, you need to stick to them calories. So if 100 of them calories come from half a beer, that won't make a difference to you losing fat as long as you are eating them calories, okay? Same way I've said to you, you can eat chocolate crisps, sweet burgers, if it fits your calories and you hit your protein and it's within the 80-20% rule that you should have all watched in the nutrition video. That's the same with this. If 20% of them calories, so let's say 2,500, which is 500, if you had 200-300 of them of beer, that would not massively affect your weight loss due to the fact that you are sticking to your calories. Obviously, if we then started having that every single day and having 1,000 calories worth of beer, then it would affect the VIX. Then we've broke the 80-20% rule, and then we've also gone into excess in terms of higher doses of alcohol. So it's important to remember that losing fat is down to your nutrition, down to your calorie consumption, and then in terms of can some of the calories include beer? Of course they can. It's just about the amount, all right? We want to stick to no more than 20% when we're looking at like your daily calories, going on things with low micronutrients, all right? So takeaway point is you can still lose fat, you can still get strong while having a couple of beers or a glass of wine every now and again. Moving on to moderation versus excess, all right, and what the difference is. So this is quite a tough subject, really, because there's no specific definition of moderate alcohol or excessive alcohol. It's a subjective opinion based on the individual. So excessive to me, because I don't drink, effectively I drink once or twice a year. So excessive for me personally, with my lifestyle, would be once a week. But to someone else, that would be really moderate. So this is where it's important that we need to understand the individual. You need to understand yourself, all right? So as it says there's no specific definition. It's very subjective. In some studies, they indicate moderate as 1 drink for a female or 2 drinks for a male daily. But I would argue potentially that may be too much if you think about it. If a male has two bottles of beer a night, that's 14 bottles a week. Is that too much? Who knows? This is the thing. It's very subjective. So I personally would suggest that's maybe too much. But then this is where it moves into our next point, all right? Your alcohol intake should match your intentions. So again, I'm not going to start turning into a guru or David Goggins or something like that. But what I will say is, if you're coming to ELEV8 or you're an athlete or whatever your goals are, and you're wanting to lose weight, gain weight, fitter, stronger, but you are drinking beer every single night, I'd argue that your intentions aren't your actions aren't matching your intentions. All right, so you need to understand what it is you want to achieve. And I'm personally someone who likes eating chocolate, cake, sweets, crisp. I like watching films with my missus. I like going for coffee and cake. So for me, I like doing that. That's what I like doing. So I have to make sure that like I control my diet, and which allows me to do that, because my intention is to be a strong, athletic male. That's what I want to be. So that's my intention. So my actions have to marry up with that, and I have to balance then my happiness of what I like doing, eating cakes, with my intentions. And that will maybe the same for you. If you're wanting to be stronger, fitter, healthier, but you have beer every night, doesn't mean you can't have that. But maybe this is where you need to address and go, okay, my intention is to be a strong, athletic male or female, then, and does having 2 beers every single night align with that intention? Then you'd argue, no, it doesn't. And if you're a bit stuck on that, does it or doesn't it? Chat with me, chat with the coaches, and we can help you guide with that, and we can give you our professional opinion on what may be too much in terms of happiness. Like I said, if you're someone like sitting by the fire with a glass of wine, that's great. We want you to be happy, but at the same time, we want you to achieve your fitness goals. So it's a very fine balance in terms of moderation versus excess. And I'm giving you a very broad answer here, which may not help you, but this is just to plant the seed. And then if you need some specific guidance on our professional opinion, then please liaise with the coaches, chat with us, and we can help you individually, because there's no set definition on moderate versus excess, all right? And then the final point is, High levels of stress may not be helped with alcohol intake, and that sounds really simple, but something that's common through my years of coaching and chatting with friends who've got businesses and families and stuff like that. When they're stressed, sometimes they have alcohol, they have nights out, and all the time I speak to them a day or two later, and they're like, "Oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I feel terrible." And it sounds so obvious, yet it seems to be in society such a massive subconscious, subconscious coping mechanism that when you are stressed, your downtime is going for alcohol. And I'm just here to just highlight here that your high levels of stress will not be helped by alcohol. It might be in the short term, as we've said, with your happiness and having some downtime, which is great, but excessive amounts will not help your stress levels long term. They're going to enhance them, if anything. So that's just another takeaway point just to finish on there. So that's the end of this week's video, and just to summarise, you can still get fit and healthy whilst drinking alcohol. Understand what your moderate and excess looks like, and then differentiate where you need to be. High bouts of stress, alcohol may not help this, and then self-awareness, this is a big one. Do your intentions match your actions? And that's a big one. I think that's the key takeaway point from this, okay? So any questions, please let me know in the ELEV8 group, or just ask at the end of one of our sessions.